Hello, BookTube. I'm just doing an impromptu matching the picture that's coming up being videoed on screen. Nonetheless, I tried to video this a few days ago in the way that I had done my previous three, but the sound wasn't recorded, so I hope this is recording. Nonetheless, it won't be a brilliant video, as you can see, because clearly the video is not keeping up with my voice. However, I've got some books to show you here, just to go through as just a quick impromptu, because I like to show a piece of my sort of knitting or crochet before I get on to some books, which would help. It'd be probably better if I held up the books rather than the hat. So I'll talk about this at the end. In fact, I might just put it on now. There we go. Let's put that on. There we go. Not too bad. Yeah. See, then that gives the viewers a chance to decide whether you like it or not. Right. So I've got this little selection of books here that I'm going through from my collection. And first of all, we're starting with Middlemarch. I read this about 10 years ago, and I remember just really at the end of it needing to talk to somebody about it. I just so wanted to talk to somebody who had read Middlemarch, and I just it. You can see how well this has been well read, but I've obviously only read it once. And of course, it's quite a large book, you know, it's a good 600 and something pages from what I see here again. I want to reread Middlemarch. I just don't know whether I'm in the mood to read such a big one again or whatever, but that meant a lot to me, Middlemarch, and I had to sort of put the request out, and one of my old school friends who actually had got a first at St Andrews in English literature came back to me and said the quintessential English novel, and that was about it. He didn't have time to speak because he was abroad teaching, and it was like that was all I got, and I was thinking, oh, but I just wanted to discuss it. And if I were to revisit Middlemarch, I'm sure I would want to discuss it again. The only annoying thing is I haven't got much what they call marginalia. I haven't written in the margins. Sometimes I would do, and sometimes I would kind of tear a little bit of the page. That little bit, I mean, because I'm keeping this book forever, I tear a little bit of the page, say if I was reading it in bed, in order to remind me to look back over that thing, but I don't know which page it was. Yeah, because it has some meaning or resonance or an area or something I want to discuss. So that's Middlemarch. As you can see, it's the Wordsworth Classic Edition. That's that one. Next, we've got Rachel Carson's Silent Spring. The reason why this book, which was absolutely perfect about a week ago, my cat ate that. I haven't read Silent Spring, but I know it's something I really ought to. In fact, everybody apparently should read it. But my cat has taken to chewing books. Hopefully it's not because it's got pica, the cat condition of anemia, because that's not very nice. But he's quite playful, and he seems to like to rip things to shreds. He has just ripped a book. I gave him a whole book. It was a good one, Shirley Price's aromatherapy book. Quite a nice one. Shirley Price was good, but never mind. So that's a shame, but that's prompted me to pick my books up off the floor and provide my cat with toys. So Silent Spring is now recognised as one of the most influential books of the 20th century. It exposes the destruction of wildlife through the widespread use of pesticides. Despite condemnation in the press and heavy-handed attempts by the chemical industry to ban the book, Rachel Carson succeeded in creating a new public awareness of the environment, which led to changes in government policy and inspired the modern ecological movement. So obviously pesticides for many people are not a good thing. I live near a farm, lived on farms, and I was always a bit, concerned when pesticides were being sprayed around the place. I'd close the windows and not breathe the air, but who knows. I'm running out of battery, so I'm going to quickly get through Brideshead Revisited. Very precious story to me. I know I have to revisit this. This is a very old one. I bought this. This is a 1980s version. It should have a bright orange spine here, but the sun has got to my But I absolutely loved the BBC adaptation and the beautiful music, and I've got that all on DVD up there, and I like to revisit that from time to time. Absolutely was Brideshead Revisited, and I forgot to mention the author of Middlemarch, George Eliot. Typical that I forget the author. Yeah, so Evelyn Waugh's Brideshead Revisited, which I always felt was quite different from his other novels, such as Scoop and Decline and Fall, and that's the only one or two I can think of at the moment. But there are other ones which were kind of like kind of satire, weren't they? And really worth reading. Evelyn Waugh. Here's one of my versions of Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I bought this because I thought, oh, how beautiful the cover, and I'll read from it and do an audio upload, which I didn't do, or I started and just gave up. My old original version is over there, The Black Spined Penguin, and I just loved Northanger Abbey. It was my last Jane Austen to read of her main 5 novels. However, with this version, look how tiny the print is. It's really tiny, and it just felt way too tiny for me to read. I didn't get a pleasure from it. So this isn't one I would read. Again, it's got teeth marks in. My cat has tried to get at this as well. Sorry about the screen. And this is like the vintage Victoria House Classics edition. Lovely cover, nice and slim. Almost makes you think, oh, nice slim one, I'll read that. But when you see the size of the font, it's enough to put anyone off. And this book is way too good. Northanger Abbey, I just think, is one of the most important coming of age novels that a teenager could read. And whilst I'm certainly not a teenager anymore, I absolutely still just get that fabulous feel from it that is just so important in coming of age books, with that gothic feel that Jane Austen achieved through writing Northanger Abbey. Richard Dawkins, The Selfish Gene. I'm going to rush now. Haven't read that, but know I ought to. Obviously, this is more of a science book, Oxford University Press. Our genes made us. We animals exist for their preservation and are nothing more than their throwaway survival machines, as stated on the back. So, worth a little read sometime. Of course, it may well put into question if one has religious and beliefs in God, etc. So just be careful there. We don't want to have our wonderful beliefs pushed out of us if we rely on those beliefs to keep us happy and content. But if you're a humanist, this may well be a set text on your bookshelf. And last but not least is a colouring book, Flower Plants Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens means so much to me and meant so much to my lovely mum. We loved going to Kew Gardens, and anything that is Kew Gardens memorabilia is so important to me and my dear mum, who's no longer here, which breaks my heart. But we had so many lovely times and memories of going to Kew Gardens. And I even remember, I'm old enough to remember when it was 2p to Kew Gardens, and then it went up to 10p and then 50p. And now it must be about, I don't know, 12 or 20 pounds to get in, I'm sure. My dad worked near Kew Gardens, and it was just so lovely that we got to go to Kew Gardens when I was a kid, and I'd feed the pigeons and go in the hot houses. Thank you very much. Now I crocheted this week. It's a bucket hat, my first attempt, or second at a bucket hat. I'll show you the first attempt another day. I'm giving this to a teenager, and therefore I'm doing this recording now. This was just a tutorial I found on YouTube, and I'm giving it to a teenager. I hope she likes it. And hope it's her sort of colour. Hope it works for her. If not, I'll probably have to take it back myself and wear, but hopefully she'll like it, because I know she likes lilac. My mum would have loved this hat. She loved lilac. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Sorry about the video being all slow and not up with my voice, but never mind. And thank you for watching my new YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.